So, in this video, we're going to look at plant diseases. We'll look at some specific plant diseases and some of the effects that they have on plants. The first important thing when we're thinking about plant diseases is where they affect. So they can either affect the vascular tissue within plants, so the roots, the veins going up through the stalks and into the leaves, or they mainly go and affect the chlorophyll in the leaves. Both of these will have an effect on the rate of photosynthesis. Affecting the rate of photosynthesis will affect the amount of glucose and sucrose subsequently that the plant will produce, and that will have a knock-on effect. We'll go through some specific plant diseases. Plant pathogens can be caused by three main pathogenic agents. So a plant disease is defined as anything that prevents a plant from performing to its maximum potential. Infectious plant diseases are caused by pathogens. Right? These are living microorganisms that infect the plant and deprives it of nutrients. So, remember, three types of pathogens. First one, fungi. So fungi digest living cells and destroys them. So this combined with the response by the plant will go and cause the symptoms of the disease. Viruses take over cell metabolism. So the viral material gets into the host cell and is inserted into the host DNA. The virus then uses the host cell to make new viruses which burst out, which will subsequently go and destroy the cells. And finally, bacteria that are infecting plants will quite often go and produce toxins, and these toxins will go and damage the cells in the plant. So, the first type of plant disease that we need to consider is ring rot. So, ring rot is caused by bacteria that causes vascular wilt above the ground of potato plants primarily. And this causes loss of texture, consistency, and causes them to go all mushy. Right, loss of up to 50% of the crop can be noted in severe infections. The disease can cause plants to wilt, but is more likely to come across in tubers. Right, tubers are the parts that are grown around. The initial symptom is a soft cheese-like rotting of the vascular ring, hence the name ring rot. So, just have a think about the question, how could we potentially treat ring rot? Pause the video and then have a look at the answer. So, if we're going to go and treat ring rot, you can only go and plant seeds that we know aren't already infected with it. Practicing good hygiene, so you are not carrying or cross-infecting one plant to another, is really important. Keeping potatoes that you're planting away from where plants that had a ring rot had already grown is important, and not dumping agricultural waste caused by ring rot is also important. The next disease that we want to look at is tobacco mosaic virus. So, tobacco mosaic virus is a single-stranded RNA virus that infects a wide range of plants, but especially tobacco. So it was in tobacco where it was kind of first seen. So tobacco mosaic virus is usually spread from plant to plant via mechanical wounds caused by contaminated hands, clothing or tools such as shearing or hose or things like that. So once inside the plant, the virus releases its genetic code, so the RNA. The plant mistakes this for its own RNA and starts to go and replicates the virus. So just have a think about how we could go and control tobacco mosaic virus. Pause the video and then go and have a look at the answer. So, tobacco mosaic virus can be controlled by frequently washing hands, disinfecting tools, and making sure that you're avoiding damp contaminant conditions where viruses are spread particularly easily from plant to plant. The next pathogen that we want to look at is potato blight. So, potato blight also goes and causes tomato blight, is a disease caused by a fungus-like organism that spreads rapidly in the foliage of tubers or fruits of potatoes and tomatoes in wet conditions, causing them to decay and collapse. It's a very, very serious disease, and potatoes, the entire crop, can be lost very, very quickly. The initial symptoms of blight are the potatoes having a watery consistency, a rot of the leaves above the ground, and the potatoes themselves underground will turn brown and shrivel up. So, just have a think about the question, how does potato blight happen? Pause the video and have a look at the answer. So, potato blight is caused by a fungus. It spreads by airborne spores on the wind until it lands on a susceptible plant. And the weather conditions also have to be correct. So, humid and warm weather conditions cause it to spread very, very rapidly. Black Sigatoka is a disease that will go and affect a range of plants, but primarily banana trees. So it's caused by fungus. So in early stages of the infection of the plant, lesions will go and form on the leaves. So brown specks and brown lesions will go and form. They become more visible on the undersides of banana leaves as the lesions grow ever more. So the spots on the underside of the leaf are the fungus itself. The sign of the pathogen consists of various things, but it will go and produce spores that will spread and infect healthy plants. So just think about what are the symptoms of Black Sigatoka. Pause the video, then have a look at the answer. So the first symptoms of Black Sigatoka are tiny chronic spots that appear on the bottom of the surface of the leaf. The spots then grow into thin brown streaks that are limited by leaf veins. So what we're going to do, we're just going to look at a bit of a case study going and looking at Black Sigatoka, and we're going to think about it in terms of food security. So just to remind you that food security is a measure of the availability of food required to support people of a household, region or country of a specific area. It is a measure of how much food there is and if there is a suitable quantity for the people that are living there. Bananas are grown in over 130 countries where they are an important crop both as food and for the economy. They are the fourth most important crop in the developing world. In East Africa, bananas are the staple food for around 50% of the population. People eat around 400 kilograms of bananas per year. 90% of bananas cultivated are produced on small farms and eaten locally. In recent years, as a result of Black Sigatoka, there has been a 40% fall in banana yields. Around 10% of bananas are produced on big plantations for Western supermarkets. These are all cultivated from a variety called Cavendish bananas. So each banana plant is very genetically similar to each other and are all susceptible, so can be affected by this disease. So there are 3 questions here for you to have a think about before going and looking at the answers. First one is that there are around 150 million people in East Africa. How many bananas need to be cultivated to feed 50% of the population? The second is to suggest the effect of black Sigatoka on the population of East Africa. And finally, what problems are likely to affect the control of disease for local farmers and on large plantations? Pause the video, then go and have a look at the answers. So, in this first question, you need to think about how you're going to calculate that. The easiest thing to do is to go look at the data earlier on in the video and then go and work it out. So to suggest the effect of black Sigatoka on the population of East Africa, key things to think about is that black Sigatoka damages leaves, so therefore there'll be less photosynthesis, so less sucrose will be produced, which means that less bananas will be grown, therefore less food will be available, so potentially there could be food shortages. And finally, what problems are likely to affect the control of the disease? So, problems caused to both of the farmers is that there's going to be lower yields. Small farmers will have no crops to sell. Large growers will have less crops to sell, therefore prices could increase. In terms of the effect on the control of the disease, smaller growers will have less access to any sort of chemical treatment which could be used to go and kill off the fungus. Hopefully that goes and covers all the key points that you could be asked about when being questioned on plant diseases. If you've got any further questions, please don't hesitate to make a comment in the comment section below.